You're listening to Amsterdam International Radio, Amsterdam's international music hub.
Yeah.
No time for your Facebook. He's looking at shoes. He's looking at sneakers, man. He's looking at sneakers.
A new Yeezy dropped just now. I'm not going to buy it though. Like I don't want to spend money on that shit now.
You can get it for free. If Adidas wants to sponsor us, we're looking for more sponsors.
Kanye?
Someone said Sci-Hi did an interview on the Breakfast Club.
He also did a Everyday Struggle episode and all that kind of shit.
Or did he?
Yeah, pretty good episode actually. He's good in interviews, but he also explained why he's not making music. And then apparently, what he says is all label shit. But you never know with these artists. They keep saying some shit.
Well, he did make that. He did make that diss track, right?
Yeah, but he said that was a joke. Kanye was supposed to do a verse on that, like they were joking around or some shit like that. That kind of bullshit.
Cool.
Weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's never going to succeed in music. He's going to be very successful, but not in music. Just not in music.
The songs he has right now are really good. I think they're good.
No one cares.
True. It's way too late for him, but the songs he has right now are really, really good.
Being a successful music artist has very little to do with making good music. We discussed this.
We found out through
He has a personality.
Big Shaq.
Like for rappers, it's a little bit different. You just need the personality, and you need to be in the conversation a lot.
But he's not.
That is his problem. You need to. Be
He's just in
careful
this conversation right now. In the whole world, this is the only conversation happening about him right now.
Exactly.
Right
He's not
now, there are a
popular.
lot of
He had his
rappers.
moment. He had his moment with the Good Fridays coming up.
you good?
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Jeff. He had his moment with the Good Fridays coming out.
Yeah.
His verse on So Appalled and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. He had all the attention and he didn't do anything with it. Too late. You get one chance.
That's true. He messed up that one. The Good Fridays were a perfect opportunity for most good music artists to just branch out.
J. Cole even came up that way. People forget that. Looking for
Yeah.
trouble.
Oh.
J. Cole already had a fan base. True. But it was
Sean also.
Sean too. In that time that's what launched him. When he did with him, it was the good music cipher. Probably
Yeah.
mostly. Out of all things, that really put him in front. So,
Yeah.
Kanye making people famous.
But
this is a whole different topic than the one we're
he
getting.
He ain't helping his ghostwriter
True.
though. His ghostwriter is not getting any.
No, so we're
credit.
going to talk about foreign rap.
No, we're
movies.
Foreign rappers in a bit.
On the next
Yeah.
episode. Sorry.
We're not talking about forward. All right.
Okay. This is mostly your topic, so
Is it mostly my topic?
go ahead and introduce the podcast. And
Thank you very much for listening, everybody. This is Three Angry Men. I am Oliver.
I'm
My
Nick.
name, no, go.
I'm Nick.
My name is Jeff.
And today, we're going to continue a conversation that we were having last weekend.
Off air.
Off air.
Or off. The
But we
podcast.
thought it'd be a great topic for the podcast. And it's really about how various articles and experts and people in the industry of film have been discussing how the Hollywood film structure is Hollywood business structure is falling apart. The business model of Hollywood and the way in which they make money off of movies is basically falling apart. It's becoming more and more difficult for Hollywood to make movies, for the main studios to make movies. And basically, the discussion was, is it inevitable? Is there going to be a huge implosion of the business model? And if so, how does it continue after that? How do we make this business stay alive? How do we make it work?
Yeah.
So what exactly about the business model is falling apart?
Yeah, well, what are your opinions on it first? Because we need to have a baseline.
Let me take my time.
No, we need to know what is going on in Hollywood.
do we want facts or opinions,
So let me start with
first?
this. So let me start this. Somewhere in 2000, either 13 or 12, Steven Spielberg, along with I believe it was George Lucas, did a talk where Steven Spielberg basically, in particular, predicted the fall of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he said that somewhere in the early 2020s, a couple dozen major films are going to flop. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have movies. So when you say major films, we're talking like 100 million plus, at least minimum. Like that's the movie he's talking about. Anything he's not talking about anything below that.
We're talking about the budget is
At least 100 million.
destroying.
Yeah.
No, well, no. What he's saying is it's just going to be very expensive movies that flop, and there's going to be a lot of them,
Mhm.
and it's going to be specifically those, and that's going to just be a major hit to the studios, and it's going to cause not only for them to lose a lot of money, but also for them to have to question everything that they do and how they make money with it. So now already we're seeing. I think we just recently heard that Justice League actually is now working out.
I knew that was
That-
gonna
that-
happen.
I think it's making
Justice League is flopping hard. Is
it's
what they're
making
saying.
enough money on returns, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's making like profits. Like,
Which
it's
is
just-
very good. I love this. This is a good segue into something that we need to discuss before we go into this.
Yeah.
Because I've been studying this. I recently found out this too. So what you need to understand is that when you take any production budget of a major film,
Yeah.
you have to break even. You have to double it. So when you see that a budget is 100 million,
You need to have 200.
they need to have at least 200, and most major movies, they have to actually get closer to about 300 million to get into the mark of actually making profit.
Justice League is
Which
not
is
getting
crazy.
nowhere near that shit.
That's how it works. So and that's because you have three stages. You have the production stage, the distribution stage, and the exhibition stage. In the production stage, when you see the budget on like websites and stuff, often that's just for the production stage.
Yeah.
But Steven Soderbergh talked about it again. He said that for most films, even the not so major films, the minimum budget that you need to promote it is 30 million.
Yeah.
That's where they start.
Yeah.
And no one has figured out, they're not figuring out how to make that cheaper. The more expensive the film, the more they put into the distribution. So if the film is 100 mil, the distribution budget is going to be another 100 mil, at least, sometimes more.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to double the cost. I heard that, for example,
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman in total cost about 450 million to make, or about 400 million to make, because the
Production
budget
value
and
is
the
crazy.
distribution
Yeah.
together. So then just imagine
And the salaries, Ben Affleck.
No, the salaries are.
and that's the
You know,
that's what they're
salaries
saying.
are fucking out
No,
of
but
control.
that's
Yeah.
what they're saying. They're saying the two biggest sources for the high cost of films is actually the distribution and actors. The actor's salary, 40 million for Robert Downey Jr. to just show up in Avengers and be himself.
Yeah, I mean,
I
part
mean-
of the whole problem is the salary demands. You know, and when you look at the TV industry, you know, for example, The Big Bang Theory. You know, when the actors went on
insane.
strike to increase their salaries, they were already the highest paid actors on TV at the moment.
Like
To
that's-
do
what do you
nothing.
like,
to do
They
nothing.
do nothing.
the show is bad. We know.
But that's why you need to. I think a big thing there is that we really need. I think actors need to have less power. I think that would make a big difference.
like
I
Hollywood and TV is still stuck on the model where
think of the celebrity,
the celebrity gets people in and gets you money.
but it
basically.
doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
because it's not valid. That's
It's
another
not
thing.
true at all.
It used to
Yeah.
be valid, but that era of where, and again, you can look at this again. That era of where an actor just by their name was so powerful that they could literally bring people to the film.
Yeah.
That era is over. It just
Yeah.
doesn't. It's not that. It's still there a little bit, but if you look at in the past, it was just like, okay, Tom Cruise, done, deal. All you need.
Yeah.
They would just pick Tom Cruise, and then they would say, now let's figure out what we're gonna do with the movie. We have Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That's enough.
We need the
Now,
names.
let's do the movie.
and
We'll
let's figure out
we'll
how
do the
to
movie around him, 'cause it's enough.
Yeah.
Same thing with Will Smith was like that. Was one of the biggest.
They
highest
still
paid.
tried with Will Smith.
Harrison Ford, I think, was also in love. Will Smith is not.
we don't need to talk about
He's
that.
struggling.
Yeah.
You had people like Arnold Schwarzenegger also for a
Yeah.
moment was those action heroes. Now it's not like that anymore, man.
So I think
like that anymore.
part of the problem here is the social media thing, which is social media is bringing so many more people up front,
Exactly.
getting them a big number of fans. So you're having so many actors now. There's so many actors out there that can pull people. So a lot of them are probably asking for high demands at the moment.
The thing is, though, like these actors are not that active on social media. They are not social media personalities.
Yo, but I mean,
think
like a
he's
lot
right.
of them.
You have to, but when we're looking at the bigger media landscape, we have to add just people on social media, like he's saying, just people that maybe aren't actors,
yeah,
but they're still entertainers.
but
And
those
celebrities
people,
and public figures, and it's to the common people. That's not a difference.
those
right?
people are not a draw for younger people to watch TV shows because they get TV shows and that kind of stuff. And then Netflix, for instance, thinks let's get a YouTube person and give them a show, and hopefully the kids
Oh.
come follow us. Like that's what they think now. That's
No,
that's
But
the
I
business
don't mean
model
those
that-
people. I mean actual actors that like have a small role in a certain movie, and then suddenly everyone's like, when they get active on social media, is like, oh, I like this guy, I like his
but
activity on
that's
social
because-
media. He's
That's
famous
because
now.
that's because of Tom Cruise. All these other people, they don't do that shit. They don't go on Instagram and Instagram Live and
Yeah, but they're
show
still
their
big
shit.
names
But,
because they established themselves.
yeah, but Terry Crews,
Whereas-
for instance, if Terry Crews gets into a show or a movie, he's on Instagram filming himself, talking to people, so people get into his shit and really follow
That's
him.
because he got into acting later.
Yeah,
Like, that's why he got into it when that was the generation. These other people, they still think they're in
But
the,
if
in
you
the
get
60s
DiCaprio,
when they
for
were-
instance,
when they were balling.
DiCaprio is like hidden, and every now and then some pictures are made with him on a boat with
Well, you
bitches.
see,
and then-
DiCaprio is, but you see, there's certain people like DiCaprio is Coca-Cola now.
He's the brilliant actor. That's
He's
just
just
why.
he's that much of a
Yeah.
brand that people just know who he is.
But everybody
still
thinks
go.
they are that level.
Yeah.
Like all these actors, like Jennifer Lawrence, for instance, and all those people, they think like
Don't get me started.
they think they are that level that if I am in the movie, like Mom, Jennifer Lawrence is
Mother.
on every mother. Yeah, they're Jennifer Lawrence on all the billboards and all that shit. People think because of her people will see that
I will
movie,
say
but
this:
it doesn't
if
work.
she
like that.
wasn't in it, it would have been worse. You have to admit that. If she wasn't in it, it would have way
Yeah, but
less
couldn't you
people would see it. That's true. I think so.
You would
I mean,
equal
if
actress.
if anyone from that caliber, if you would have gone less famous actress, it wouldn't have carried the movie.
No, well, I'm not talking about the quality of the film. Eh? I'm talking
no,
about
you mean
the
the,
actor.
reach and the
people
money.
going.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people
Oh, yeah,
going.
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Gotcha.
She is very famous.
We're
People do go
in
see
that
it
we're in
because
that
of her.
middle period, that transition period where some of the old rules still apply, but
Yeah,
the
it
new
has
rules
an, it
are-
has an
yeah.
effect. It still has an effect. It just doesn't say like it used to be. Like, oh, we have this actor, and it just is. We're done now. That's all we need to do. It was they
Yeah.
were good, but now it's
Yeah.
not. It's not like that anymore. And but the salaries aren't coming down, and I don't understand why. What I think it needs to be. I think the producers and directors need to take more control. To be honest, personally, because I think that then, if the brand name is the director, then he doesn't have to rely on a particular actors to make the movie successful. So that then also weakens their
Yeah.
bargaining position.
you have
with the
a few
actor.
of
You
the
understand what I mean?
directors doing that, but none of the younger.
If you're
Well,
Spielberg, for example, Spielberg in
Yeah.
his era could just do a movie and like, oh, you want this much? It's too expensive. Fuck you, someone else. And then they could, because it's Spielberg, so people will watch. They don't. The actor has less of a bargaining power. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
at least that used to make sense. Now I don't know
Yeah,
why
but-
that doesn't work.
It doesn't. To me, like if I bring it back to this era and social media and everything, it seems like that doesn't work because some of these directors, some of these writers don't do the social media shit. They're
You
not.
keep coming
Yeah,
back
and
to the
also
social
they're-
media.
No,
not-
because that's a big part of if you wanna be front facing, if you wanna be
It's very
the-
frustrating.
if you wanna be the face of some shit, right now you need to talk to the people, even if you don't want it or not.
This is Jeff.
like-
Jeff works at a bank.
We don't like putting our faces and all that kind of shit on the internet for no reason, but
we're doing it for you guys.
we want to make interesting content. We want to
It's not
make this
true. I
podcast, so
enjoy
we
this.
need to do this shit.
I enjoy this very much.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I enjoy talking, but like
No, but I think
we like our page, for instance, we don't have picture and all that kind of stuff up
yeah,
there.
but the
But-
issues is way. I mean, if you're talking about films that are made for over $100 million, and
Yeah.
then the box office is flopping.
But if you want,
I mean, it's less that the problem is not just because on social media. I don't think
No,
people
social media, it's a
vlogging
part
more
of
is
it.
gonna
Like,
make.
it's a part of the whole problem. Like these directors are not talking to the people. They're not communicating with people around there. Like it's mostly they make a movie and then they disappear to make a movie and then they come back and suddenly they expect everybody to run towards the cinema.
I
to
mean,
watch that shit.
the marketing of films is still very old media. It's still very traditional.
For
and
sure.
It's really quite
Yeah.
shocking. I've said this before. Though you would think that the film industry would be more creative because it's full of creative people, but it's a very, very conservative,
They're-
very conservative industry.
A
no
lot of
innovation
old people
whatsoever.
sitting there
Well,
making decisions.
I mean, look at music. Look at how people are innovating in terms of promotion, and people
But
are just putting their
music
albums
was
on
forced to do
YouTube.
it.
Film is about
Yeah,
to be forced to.
but
They're
when you-
about
when
to
you
be
do
forced.
Netflix is basically forcing Netflix, Hulu, and all those smaller streaming services are forcing these bigger studios to rethink their shit. Disney is now making a streaming service because they have to.
True.
yeah, but I mean, with the traditional way, going back to the traditional way of promotion, I mean, versus the way music's being promoted, a lot of actors with big reach, when they actively promote their movies on social media, you see that they automatically make a lot of money.
The Rock.
Like, yeah, I was talking about The Rock, Kevin Hart, Ice
Yeah.
Cube, when they did Ride Along, for example. They did a huge promotional tour worldwide, globally, and
They went and
you know,
worked
it
with
was successful,
YouTubers,
made
They were
Ride Along too.
YouTubers.
yeah.
yeah, and
'Cause you
they're
have to
doing
do
it.
that.
When the actors are so passionate about their own projects that they end up promoting it that much, it
But again,
it does
all
it.
these people, all the three people you just mentioned, they're great examples. Again, are people they started later, so they
Yeah.
started when this was the generation.
But they,
And
but
then
they,
you have-
What
but
we're
they did
basically
exploit
saying
social
is-
media at the beginning. Like,
Well,
when-
basically, you're
when-
saying is the old guard needs to
yeah,
die
no,
off.
that's
That's
what
why.
they did. They
Mhm.
started. I mean, they started their acting career later.
yeah,
Yeah.
So when they started their acting career, at the time they started, social media, Instagram, fucking even Jennifer Lawrence when she started, I don't think Instagram existed. She's
No, you're right, yeah.
Instagram's been around for what, like what, 4 years?
which I mean
No,
they
no,
started
she's
getting
not 4
lead
years, more
roles
longer.
later, right? Because
Well,
Kevin
the first
Hart
Hunger
did-
Game. The first Hunger Games was quite a while ago.
She didn't. No, but I'm talking about how long has Instagram been around?
Oh,
Instagram.
No, I'm
Instagram has been around not that long.
not that
No.
long.
Definitely not mainstream. It became mainstream when it was bought by Facebook. That was just a couple years ago.
But you mean there's
she's been acting before Hunger Games, huh? She got an Oscar nomination before Hunger Games, even.
People don't know that.
but all these people they had small
I
roles
did.
before. Even but The Rock had big roles. The Scorpion King. When did that come out? That
Yeah,
was-
he had a moment. I don't call that.
That was his moment. Yeah, true. Yeah,
It
he
was
was
a
really
moment.
his wrestling was his thing. Then
Yeah, he did that. And
Kevin
then
Hart had the small roles. I remember him.
Kevin
in,
Hart is a 40-year-old virgin.
Along
he
Came
does-
Polly. Yeah.
He shows up in a 40-year-old
Um,
virgin. He's
Is
dope.
did that come out after Along Came Polly with Ben Stiller? Because there he also had a small role. It was also an old one. Anyway,
You see, you could tell that man was going to be successful because when you go back and you watch his small roles, he killed his small roles.
I
He
know.
killed him.
we always laugh.
He's up there for 5 minutes, but he just he
Mhm.
uses those 5 minutes.
Yeah, I remembered him very well from when I first watched Along Came Polly, and like that guy's really funny. Even though he appeared in 2 scenes, I think it totally had 1 minute of screen
Yeah.
time.
If you also look at like 40-year-old virgin, one of the most memorable moments of the movie is that interaction he has with the guy who works there.
Mhm.
Romani Malco is the
Yes.
actor when they start beefing and stuff.
Yeah,
And he's there for like 5 minutes. He's not even
not even 5 minutes. It was like a 2-minute scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Anyways, but Hollywood is in a state of disaster, so we need to go back to that and fix it.
Look,
So-
Right.
When we were talking the last time off the
There was a
podcast,
couple. I just wanted to add because there's a couple things that we need to add because there's the fact that the budget, like I just said, is double this time. But what's also happening is that there's a continuous gap. The gap between the amount of movies that make money and the amount of movies that don't make money is becoming bigger and bigger. So every year, it's like the economy. It's exactly like that. So every year we see that global wealth actually increases,
yeah,
but the amount of people that make money make
Hmm.
money of it becomes smaller. So a smaller group of people are making more and more of the money.
Yeah.
That's also what's happening in films, where smaller amount of films make up for the vast majority of profit that the studios make. So every
probably
year,
almost only
It's-
Disney
it's-
making money off movies.
no, other studios also,
Yeah.
but it's like just a few films.
Yeah,
And what he was, I watched this. There was this brilliant guy who was explaining how this worked. What he was saying is that every year you can look at just the movies that have come out up until that point, and you can look at if they've reached that 300 million mark, because that's sort of like for big budget movies, that's sort of the standard. If they reach that 300 million mark, then they're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
If not, then we're worrying because their budget probably was over that. Because even if it was 100 million for the production and 100 million for the distribution, 200 million box office is 300 million. That's just 100 million profit, and there's other costs in there also that you have to consider. So
Do you think that's the reason why there's such an increase in indie movies now? Because there's a lot more indie movies now, I noticed. Also with Netflix, the fact that they came up, that, you know,
honestly, I think the influx of indie movies is has a very different source, but that's a whole another episode, man. I could talk about that for a long time.
could you do
A
short
quick,
version?
a short.
just like, why not?
Yeah. Well, the influx of indie films, this new revolution we see has to do a lot with streaming services that have made it possible for you to
Mhm.
easily distribute your film.
Obviously, yeah.
It has to do a lot with technology. It's probably the biggest factor. The
Yeah.
it's
Right,
actually
but-
people call it the DSLR revolution. So
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
fact that people could have pretty high quality cameras
Yeah.
that they can use to make movies, and also like the quality between cameras. The gap between that is also becoming smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So it used to be, if you wanted to have even a halfway decent camera, you had to have some like high quality studio shit. Now, I mean, there's a difference still between an Arri Alexa and a smartphone camera, but
With a smartphone, you can make a
the
decent
smartphone
video.
is still decent quality. It's still a good camera, very, very, very good camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I
it
like
makes
that.
it. That's what I'm saying. So it's easier
Yeah,
for
but
people to make.
but
good
doesn't
quality
it play a
films.
small
is-
role? It
yeah,
plays a
that,
role.
that plays a role in
In
why
what?
these movies are like the budgets are way too big. You can
Like, nobody
for
wants to go
cheaper,
through
you
these
can-
studios anymore.
For cheaper, you
Like,
can make a good movie. Like you don't need to go 100 million for a movie anymore.
Oh, that's how you guys are looking at it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think.
Although you can make an
You don't-
indie production value of.
yeah, people.
Yeah,
but that's
those big
because
movies.
because then your other problem is, and this is what people are discussing now, is that yes, you can make. The studios don't like making small films. They want to make fewer big
'Cause-
films instead of making. They want to make few big films instead of making a lot of
Because
small films.
they can make more money.
Because small films,
Yeah.
they cost less, but they also tend to make way less more profit.
But
And
if you wanna groom the scene, if you wanna get people up there, if you wanna get the celebrity culture up there again, you need to do smaller movies because people need space
Yeah.
to work on shit.
yeah.
If you want if you
Well,
want
celebrities are doing that themselves.
yeah, but if you
they
want
make that
directors
happen.
to get in front of all of this shit, they need to have a platform. They need to have a space where they can just throw shit out and
True.
get to that level. Like
But to get it, I mean, to make a $10 million movie is extremely hard. Even like $5 million movie is
it
extremely
should
hard.
be easier.
It's extremely hard. It's not, and it's becoming harder and harder. And you would think that because I see what you're saying, because the technology is more advanced, it would be easier, but it's not.
I know.
Because
I know it's
people.
It's difficult,
Because the
but-
thing is, and that probably has a lot to do with television. Is the other idea is that people say that what television is now is what the indie films used to be. So the reason people don't want to go and people don't get why they should go and watch like a drama or some sort of period piece drama or some sort of existential thriller or whatever,
Mhm.
if they can just watch like True Detective or Game of Thrones, or they don't see. So that's, but yeah, and that's because they're stupid. But that's.
But
I
people,
mean,
people still
but
need
t-
their fix of movies.
TV is doing
right?
what film was supposed to do for people. People wanted drama stories.
If
People
you want to tell a real story, yeah, people
Yeah.
people still do want real stories, but they don't want to go to the movie theater for it.
No, if there were good movies, I think that if there were movies that really interested them and really were accessible to them, like if some of these movies, like I know people hate this shit, but if some of these movies would release day one on Netflix and in theaters, people would maybe be interested in watching
Sean,
more of them.
what's his name? Napster guy.
Oh, Sean Parker.
He's trying to do that.
Yeah.
He's trying to build that.
Hasn't Napster been dead for 10 years?
Yeah, but the
I-
guy's still alive.
I think
No,
Napster,
he is. What is he
Napster
living
is
on?
still alive in some
He's a
capacity.
millionaire.
He's still making
He helped
money
make
off-
Facebook. You forget?
Oh, right.
He's getting.
Yeah, I
he's still
saw
getting
him
royalties.
from the social network, the movie.
He's like, what is he living on? He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
He's still
Yeah,
getting those royalties.
No, I'm
checks.
sorry, because if I had that money, I would have blown it already by now. But
Yeah.
Okay.
that's just me. I mean, I don't know, man.
No, but
I live like a rich person
He's out there.
Like
for no reason.
I think one of the problems also, and
No, but
maybe
the-
that relates a little bit to this, is there's no experimentation.
But people want to
Nobody's
do
trying
that.
shit.
Just what you to go
Yeah.
back to what you're saying before
Yeah.
the release on Netflix and theaters at the same time. People want to do that. There's people who want to do that. Let me try to remember who didn't want to do that. There's someone who doesn't. want
Christopher
to do that.
Nolan said he didn't want to do that.
Nolan
And,
doesn't
some-
want to do. But you see,
A few
you
others.
see, but the problem is also it's not gonna be these directors. It's gonna be the next generation. These directors, they're all.
sure.
I mean, and they're
They're not on social
geniuses.
media.
You know, Paul Thomas Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, all of them are geniuses, but these are all people who have just very, very boldly proclaimed that they just don't like the progress. They don't want to shoot on digital. Everybody has to go to a movie theater.
Yeah.
You know,
They-
why is
they're-
although I just want to say we have to give Martin Scorsese his props. His next film is going straight to Netflix. He's doing a Netflix movie.
Yeah, because
So
all
he's
the,
giving it a
but
shot.
It was
He's giving it a shot.
Near the end of his
Wasn't
life,
it
he's giving
because
it a
he
shot.
didn't get
We
any?
gotta give him the props.
Wasn't
Shout
it
out
because
to
he didn't get
Scorsese.
any funding from all
Shout out to
these other
Martin.
people or something?
Hmm?
I thought he didn't get any funding from all these other studios or some shit like that. Or Netflix give him more freedom or some shit. Something.
Just anything. Well, I heard it's still. I heard it, actually. You're right. I think I heard it was still difficult to get it done, but it's in the works. I heard it's in the works. He's doing it with Robert De Niro's in there. I think Joe Pesci's even in there.
Robert De Niro is someone who is somehow, keeping himself relevant, working on the right projects, and
Yeah.
going out there.
Is he a draw? Is he like, would people go to cinemas for his movies?
In this era, no, not just for him. Some people, but not enough.
I would, but yeah, I know
would,
most
but
people
the
wouldn't.
kids. I'm talking about the kids.
Yeah,
I
they don't even
will.
know who he is.
I'm going. That's what I'm
Like,
saying. It's
that-
before their generation.
But
That's why he does like the movies
They don't
like
know
The
Raging
Intern and
Bull.
stuff, and he did those movies, and it kind of like
Maybe
speaks
they
more
would
to
know
the
maybe
generation
for
again.
that. Yeah, maybe they would know him for that. Maybe they would go.
They're
for
like,
that.
oh, that's the funny old guy. Little fuckers as well.
Robert De Niro, the funny old guy.
Yeah, and then his rant on Donald Trump went viral. He does some social media stuff, right?
Yeah.
He does social media. That's what it is, man. I think that's
Some
the
of
key.
them,
people
some
are-
of the older guard are pretty good.
Some
at
people get
adapting.
it. I mean, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
about age.
No. It's not
Because-
about it.
No.
If you look at like again these young actresses, they ain't doing shit either. Jennifer Lawrence is 27 or some shit.
And-
She's just famous for not. Okay.
Oh, careful.
Yeah. She's just famous. No, my point
Yeah.
is no. I'm saying she's just famous. She goes on talk shows, but that's what I'm saying. That's the late night show interviews for promotional
those.
film.
Which is what
That
everyone
was
does.
that was fucking back like Johnny Carson era. Then you could do that. That worked. Then you go on a late night talk show. You promote your film. That is not as effective now. Like people want to have a very direct. You need to talk to
You need to
them.
look into their life. You
You
need
need
to
to
show
look
your
at-
People
house.
want
You need
live
yeah,
to-
you need to
streams.
show your face.
It's
And
true, but
People
every
will-
day you need to post every day. And then if they get the management, the social media management, you have to do it every day.
People want live streams from the set, like in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Just live streaming.
That's
shit.
what I'm finna
That's what
do.
people wanna
That's
see.
what I'm finna do when I get up there.
Yeah.
I wanna
It's
do stuff
like, man,
that.
you see people doing this. So like, once you've seen that already, you're like, I'm not interested in all the other ones. I want to see that.
Well, okay,
It's like
for-
if you had a Lamborghini and suddenly you have a Nissan.
Yeah,
You're like,
I have a
you
very
don't
good
want to do
example.
that.
I have a very good example. I recently saw. Right now they're doing Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Did
Yeah.
I say it right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Did I do it right?
Yeah.
You did it right. You
Jeff
did
is,
it.
our, Jeff is our geek translator here. So I fuck it up because I seriously don't even know. It's the last.
The Last Jedi.
Is it?
Yeah, the Last.
Wasn't
Jedi.
the first movie The Last Jedi? As well?
There's always a Last
Nick,
Jedi.
you don't start this shit.
This, this, I can't. They have like 9 of these things. How many are there? And every time it's some new. How many
Continue
times,
your point.
How many times did they deal with this guy with the hat, the Darth Vader guy? How many times did they have to?
He's gone. It's done. Like
He
continue.
dies
What are
every
you
movie.
still
Don't
fighting
rant. Don't rant.
Anyway.
Don't
I
you
saw
dare.
it. No. I saw a promotional thing for it. They were doing it on IMDb, and right now, the new Star Wars. They have Daisy Ridley, John Boyega. They have
Yeah.
Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones, and the director is Ryan Johnson, also the director of Brick, which is a brilliant teen noir film, and the movie Looper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's directing this, and they've announced that he's actually going to be directing the whole new series.
The whole trilogy.
Yeah,
New
the whole,
trilogy.
well, the new trilogy. So he's finished. He's doing the last movie of the current trilogy. And
No,
then they're
there's
gonna-
another movie coming for this trilogy.
Are they still with Disney now?
Really?
or-
I heard that he's finishing the last movie for the current trilogy, and then they're going to do a whole new
No,
trilogy with him.
they did the first one, then they did the Rogue One.
That wasn't part of the trilogy.
No, it wasn't a part. Then this is the second part, the second movie of the trilogy, and there's another one coming, and then he's doing that new trilogy. So
How
So
many
wait,
fucking-
there's this one, and then there's another one, and then there's a trilogy.
Holy shit.
Oh, and he's doing
he's
the
doing,
trilogy.
There's
he's
more
doing
Star
the
Wars
next-
movies coming out in these years.
so
than
he's
there is
doing
in
the
last
next
10.
4 movies.
I don't know if he's doing the next one.
Motherfucker about to be paid. I want some
He's
shit.
set for life.
Aren't
But anyway,
Disney still with Disney? They're still with Disney? Which relates to the networks, I mean. Are they still with Disney?
Yeah, Star Wars is a Disney property.
People say that that's why Star Wars still works. Point is, I saw the promotional thing for it,
Mhm.
and this is a major film. It's about some people in space and shit. It's supposed to be for the kids, right? The promotional material for it, there was a whole video, and all they did was all the different actors were talking about the director and how great he was.
Yeah,
So they do these little
they
snippets.
do that a lot.
Yeah, like these little snippets. Yeah, working with Ryan Johnson, it's really special because he has such a great imagination. And then they show clips of him doing shit, standing there.
5 years from now, he harassed someone.
They show it like that.
So shit, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, don't do that. No, but my point is,
Try
I
to
was
be,
looking at it.
you know.
It's like 2 minutes, and I'm like, and then like a 2-minute video, and then they put it on Facebook, and I'm like, who gives a who gives a fuck? Like who?
It's true. That's what it is.
This
It's so
Yeah.
impersonal. It's so impersonal.
Yeah.
It's so fabricated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't believe them. I was like, you don't even like him. I was watching it. I was
He
like,
probably cursed you out at the set every day, and now you're saying
and I
some
love
nice shit.
Ryan Johnson is a brilliant director, and I almost want to go see this shit just because he's directing. Because
Just go see it.
Brick was a genius film, and Looper was also a very, very good film. He's a very, very good director. So they made a good choice there by picking him.
Yeah.
But again, and this is not their fault. This isn't the actor's fault or the director's. This is the studio that does.
Yeah,
This,
of
let's
course.
do this for promotional material. Because there's some 50-year-old dude up there,
80-year-old. Not 50.
and they don't.
It's
I don't
because
understand
they glorify him so much. They're like, oh, everybody must like him.
But they
don't-
think like if the director's still that sophisticated guy with the beret on the fucking
Like Alfred
chair
Hitchcock.
that
He's
can-
not Hitchcock.
They
but it's not
still
even
see
that.
it. They still see it like that. Like he needs to be that sophisticated dude.
Yeah.
He's not somebody who's allowed to make mistakes or be a little
Yeah,
bit
but it's
eccentric or some shit
not
like
it's
that.
not even that. Like I don't watch Star Wars, but they couldn't come up with something more creative or interesting.
They have done way more interesting shit than that. But that's just the studio
It's just so
forcing their
impersonal.
way.
It's just impersonal. It's always even just the simple things. Like, so what they're doing with that video is that people are talking to, they're being interviewed sort of, and then they don't show the other person or you don't hear the other person, but you just hear them talking. But you see they're looking at someone else. They're
Yeah.
not looking at the camera. They're not looking at you.
Yeah.
And it's also the way that it's shot. You see that it's an interview. It's just little things. If they would have, like, an actress on the set would have just picked up her phone and looked into the camera and said the same fucking thing,
It would be way more
Mhm.
powerful.
it would already be a lot better.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to do that.
The behind the scenes thing always works.
Yeah, because
There's contracts that say that they
because
can't do shit like that.
Disney wants everything to be a fucking secret. The sets is probably guarded like a fucking
Disneyland, apparently the janitors as well, they're in character as well.
It's
Everything.
insane.
Which is great branding, to be honest. But
They are really
it
good at
doesn't work in
branding,
this
but it's
way.
just their outward, like their presentation towards people who don't know their brand yet. It's just sometimes fucked up.
I remember that the James a couple years ago there was a lot of discussion about the James Bond franchise. I don't remember what exactly
Daniel
it was,
Craig,
but yeah, it was also flopping. It was not working,
Yeah.
and Daniel Craig actually had to put money up to save one of the movies or something like that.
Seriously, I didn't read that.
Who does it? Was it Miramax that does that? That does James Bond?
No.
Forgetting which. I'm not big on James Bond, but I remember
What-
that there also there was a story like that about
Wasn't Warner Brothers?
there was a studio that was doing it and
Thought
the
it was
studio
Warner,
was
no?
struggling.
I don't know if it is a Warner's. But
Because
yeah,
Miramax
continue.
is Lord
My
of the
point
Rings.
is, you're hearing
Anyway.
more and more of these things of these. I mean, Justice League, right now, is not
It's
doing.
not moving.
And bro, that shit was expensive.
Yeah.
That was. This is what Spielberg was saying. You got to give it to him. He was saying it. He was saying these movies, the big ones, like the ones where it's gonna hurt.
Fantastic Four.
Oh,
They
yeah.
didn't. That flopped.
Oh
Massive.
my god, that was
Yeah.
hurt. Oh, that.
Batman vs Superman. We can go on.
we definitely can. But the
go
thing
on.
is, I don't know. I'm never surprised. I'm always like, it's those
No.
movies, and then they flop, and I'm always like, so you didn't see that coming? You didn't think that?
To be honest,
you
like,
thought this was gonna
No,
work
because it's those 80-year-old motherfuckers sitting in their tower, looking at everybody, thinking they know how it's supposed to be, but not knowing how these young kids think.
Jeff is going on this. It's
No, but if
pissed off.
like, no, but for real. Like, on some-
okay,
on
but
some real.
Wonder Woman worked.
Be-
Why did
Because
Wonder
there's a
Woman
woman-
work?
Because
Well, hold on. Let me pose the question
Okay.
because I'm actually very interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Wonder Woman work, but Justice League?
the
didn't?
story behind it. They had a whole story. Like it can't. Wonder Woman is an anomaly because it came at the perfect moment in time. Also, like the whole discussion going about women's rights and
Mhm.
women being more forward facing in the movie industry, especially. But also just the story behind it, like having this kind of uplifting story, giving the right kind of information in social media. So Gal Gadot was in the gym working out, all that kind of shit, and not looking too much buff, but also not looking too skinny.
She was
all
pregnant when they shot the movie.
all that kind of stuff. All the stories behind it, the good social media presence around it, like that helped. And just because people wanted to see something different, it was a story they have never seen before, so it helped. That helps also. But that was just a kind of mini perfect storm. in that
People were
whole
always
in
wondering
that
where's that
whole
Wonder
thing.
Woman movie, you know? Because in that scene, she's a big name that people want to watch that movie. There is no Wonder Woman movie right before that, no.
No,
I think there were attempts.
there were attempts, and I
Attempts
think
at
there was a
vid-
TV show.
There's a
or
TV
something.
show. or some shit.
That doesn't work with a TV show.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
But there-
but
there was
I mean, she
nothing,
wasn't even. She became famous after that. She wasn't known.
Yeah,
before
yeah,
that.
yeah.
She wasn't even known before that.
Yeah. But if you do it right, you can get somebody to that level, and then people will want to see her and shit.
But like Avengers works, right? Avengers, they made a lot of money.
Yeah, but that is
Avengers
because
did make a lot of money, but you have to again. They're not making as much money as we think. That's always the joke. So
No,
we see
yeah.
like, oh, you know, one, and that's what the guy when I was watching this video, he was also saying that like we hear the problem was that the media hype shit to
Yeah.
people that don't know shit. So they, oh yeah, well, the Avengers made $1 billion, one of the highest grossing movies ever. Okay, but you see, for everybody who's done basic economics, yes, you made a lot of revenue, but what
How
were the
much
costs?
The
What were the
cost-
costs?
the cost for
if
that
the
shit
cost
is-
is retarded high,
Yeah.
then the profit is actually. So if you adjust for profit, there's movies in the past. Like there's several movies a lot of movies in the past made way more money. This movie made
Yeah.
the Avengers one of the highest grossing movies ever. Not the highest, but it's
No,
like top
it's-
10. I
it's-
think it's like
it's somewhere in the list.
something
yeah.
like top 5 maybe even with like 2 billion or something or 3 billion even. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing cost probably like $500 million to make all together
That
if you
wouldn't
put
surprise me.
everything together.
Salaries and all.
So then if you take that and compare it to like a Matrix, for example, which also made a lot of money and cost way less than
Matrix
that.
was an indie.
Matrix was an indie film. Still cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it was an indie film. If you take, for example, Get Out. Brilliant example.
Mm-hmm.
Budget was like $5 million. They couldn't even pay the actors. The actors got paid off the back end. They give them a percentage
Yeah.
because they couldn't pay them up front.
But that makes
Over $100 million at the box
way more
office.
sense.
Do
That's
the
stuff
math.
that makes it difficult. There's not many actors that want to do that, I think. They want to
But
get
that should
guaranteed.
that should be a good
No,
payment
I think
model,
there's
right?
actors
Yeah.
that I think there's actors that. Well, yeah.
Look at the egos.
There
There's
are,
egos.
There are actors.
You know-
there are a lot of actors that want to do that, but maybe not as famous.
Yeah. You can't get anyone you want in that way if you use that
But they
business
did.
model.
But that's the brilliant thing is, fuck the egos. They made a great film. It had a great
yeah,
concept.
but not
But
many
that
people are
movie
willing
was
to take
also
that
Perfect
risk.
Storm. Like you had a minimal social media campaign or campaign in general, and then after that, people started talking about it. Then you push more stuff, and then you just pile up on it, and then the hype just takes it all
But
the
it
way
was like-
there. That's
Bud-
how you should.
Budget was like $5 million or so.
Yeah.
So what is that? You do
Think about-
distribution. You get your 10, 15 maybe in total if you want to really push it, and then what? Over $100 million.
The movie industry, you know, you
$5
need
million
to.
profit.
The main thing is you want to minimize risk when you have the movie industry because it can not only kill your bank account, it can kill your career if you make a mistake like that.
Like I think that is
So-
a part of why some of the shit is not working right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because like being risk averse is good because there's a lot of fucking money going around, but they should try to do more weird shit because that's what is helping music right now.
I mean, with weird shit
Like just trying out the streaming service, just try
Oh,
putting
yeah.
it on there, just try
No, but
making
you
it a
see,
bit cheaper,
okay,
all that
but you
kind of
see,
stuff.
but you see, the problem is that people aren't going to movie theaters enough
Yeah, but
because they want to watch the shit on Netflix. So now people are making movies and it's going straight to Netflix.
yeah, that try some different shit.
Yeah, but how is that a good thing? How does that help anybody in life?
We don't know if that's a good thing
That's
yet.
not. Of course we do. People are doing it.
could be a
People
good
are
thing for
doing
the
it. There's a lot
filmmakers,
of
but I
people-
mean, but
Netflix
not
has
for
a
the
movie
industry.
every fucking week. They
Yeah,
just-
but we are not sure if that is the best way to do this shit yet. That's what I mean. Like you need to try some
well,
shit out
we
for
know
a
it's-
while.
I mean, we've seen it. We know it's not good.
It's not
but-
the best
but-
way, but then we
It's
should
not
try different models.
Good at all. We should. I mean,
But then shouldn't you somehow push
I
the
don't
movie
think it is the
theaters
worst
maybe
thing.
somehow?
I mean, it makes if you people keep saying, okay, well, the movie theater needs to provide something that people can get at home. So that's
Mhm.
why we do the big movies in the movie theater, in particular, and all the special effects and
Mm-hmm.
IMAX and yada 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 bullshit.
It's funny because
And
I don't
it's-
like that stuff really.
No, I don't like.
I go to the
Nobody
traditional
really likes
2D. That's it.
Yeah,
Fucking 3D is the worst shit
3D
ever.
is horrible,
Yeah,
but it's just another way
get a
to
headache from
charge
it.
you more money. So then they release the shit, you want to see it, and then all the screenings are in 3D.
Fuck
I
that.
see how you guys are moving.
Yeah,
But anyway.
IMAX and I mean IMAX is cool, but
IMAX
then
is
they
cool,
charge
but
you
the fucking
more. I don't
3D,
know.
they need to cut that shit
is-
out.
3D fucks with people's eyes. Anyway, the
Yeah.
point that I'm making is, when it goes straight to Netflix,
Yeah.
Netflix buys it. Netflix buys the rights, and people just watch it off of a subscription that they pay every month.
Mhm.
So there's no revenue
There's no
that is
long-term
specifically
money.
attributed to the quality and success of that movie. If you if you sell the movie up front, and at least I don't know how the deals exactly go. I would assume at least that Netflix, just like any other, because Netflix is a production company as well as a distribution company, and actually also an exhibition company altogether, which was supposed to be illegal. But I assume that they buy it. They buy it so that they can broadcast it. So in some cases they rent it because some movies leave. Also, they leave Netflix at some point.
I think a lot of times they come on as producers.
As
well.
soon
they
as-
produce
yeah,
the
but
movie
when it
there
says,
like that.
when it
If they
says
say-
Netflix original, then it's
Then they
theirs.
bought it.
Produced, yeah.
They bought
But then
it.
my point is, if people are paying us a monthly subscription,
Yeah.
then they're not paying extra money for that film. So that film could do incredibly well,
I know.
but it's
Yeah.
not and bring more. But at the same time, it doesn't bring more revenue because no one's gonna make a Netflix account just to watch a specific film. So it doesn't bring new people to Netflix.
But that's what I'm saying.
At the same time, the
trying
people that are
different
already
shit.
there they're watching it maybe, but they're not paying for. So it keeps people that are already
but
there
look-
maybe to stay. It doesn't have a significant. It doesn't have to. It doesn't get to be its own product anymore.
Yeah.
Not true, but
Films are no longer their own product. Films are now.
But
part
that's why
of
films
a-
should then avoid
of the
Netflix,
Netflix as a
because
product.
if
But
people love the movie, they're like, I want to watch this movie. Shit, it's not on Netflix. Might as well go watch it.
That's my point. That's
but
what I'm
you
at.
gotta do.
That's where I'm. That's what I want to do.
I
Right.
agree with you guys, but I think that this is a necessary step. Like you need to go through this to understand this shit, and then we need to look at other options. Like maybe Vimeo was supposed to be this place where people just went there, they saw a movie or a show they liked, and then paid a few bucks, and then you could really see like, okay, if our shit makes a lot of money, we know that it does good.
Why
But
don't
people-
we have?
but
What's
people
Hulu?
didn't flock
Hulu's
to it.
model.
Why don't we have?
But the directors, the actors, all the film industry didn't go to Vimeo. They just left that shit and let it burn, and
but
now Vimeo's what it is.
What were we supposed to do with Vimeo?
People were supposed to go there, put their shit on there, and if they like that, if the viewers like that shit, they could pay some money for that.
Yeah, but
that
that
kind of
that
nobody's-
business model that doesn't work.
It focuses too
it's
much on the
trying-
goodwill
you
of people,
see-
and there's no good people in the world. Everyone's bad.
Also, you have to see the internet is a big problem because the internet is like a huge mall. It's one place, and if you walk into a mall, right,
Mm-hmm.
and they're selling a certain product here for $2, and they're selling the exact same product somewhere else for nothing, then like it's not. It doesn't make it. It's just as I can go to Vimeo and pay for it there, or I can just open a new tab, right?
Yeah.
Torrent, and then watch it for free. Just 2 seconds.
Yeah, but then you should not
so
make
is
your
it-
price fucking 10, 11 euros. You should go cheaper. That's why music had to go to 99 cents.
Hold up.
What, yeah.
Why don't we have the music? See, my problem is that what Netflix does that I really don't like is that they take the movie.
Yeah.
So they take the whole thing and they make it their original, and that keeps it away from other.
But that's
platforms.
because Netflix
What?
wants their own
Yeah,
brand.
but
be
okay,
bigger
I
than the
don't
movies.
care about what they want.
Yeah.
no,
No, but what you're
my
suggesting is
patience
that
with them is getting very short.
what you're suggesting
You're gonna
is that
cancel
the
your
movie
subscription,
should
is that-
become its own brand and should come to the forefront.
Why don't we have- I'm
Right
saying
now, Netflix is
music.
going to the-
When an artist releases their music, goes to Spotify.
Mhm.
A lot of people just put it on YouTube. In addition,
Yeah.
goes to SoundCloud in some cases also. You could even do Bandcamp if you want.
Yeah.
You release it on different platforms, and they
True.
do the hard copy, and then people can pick the option that works best for them. But it's still about the film. It's not a Netflix film, but it's a film that Netflix
But the studios
can
need
provide
to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
to
yeah.
you.
The problem is that too many too many channels want to take ownership of the thing.
Yeah.
So
And the
you
studios
have a
give
lot of
these people
competition.
ownership. Like if
What do you mean?
Netflix comes to a
No,
studio
I'm saying
and
that's
says,
how I'm agreeing with you. You know, but I'm saying the like HBO is like HBO produces stuff, but like in different countries, you have different channels that buy the rights to show certain movies. You know,
Yeah.
and they have the deals with the studios. You know, instead of being like, oh, we can put it on all platforms for less money per
but-
platform. You know,
but
Yeah,
I think
okay.
the studios are still going off that model that Nick just explained. That it used to be that if a movie went to DVD or that kind of shit, you sell it to a certain TV channel in certain countries, and then that TV channel may show it on TV. They're still
Why are
using,
we not doing that with Netflix?
they're still using the idea of, hey, if Netflix is everywhere, we just sell it to Netflix, and then everybody can sell it everywhere. But if they would just talk to these people like music, like artists and music record labels, talk to these.
Well, the
talk
big
to
problem
Spotify
is,
and that kind of shit. They should be able
but
to
the
do
big
that.
problem is that with music, you have an additional business model, and that's live shows. So really,
Yeah.
what it is the music is a promotion, and
Which is
people
the cinema
pay for
for
the
movies.
live show. Exactly, but then that's the question, right? When you go to a live show, you really get something different than if you're listening to it at home. Whereas the cinema,
It's the same shit.
yeah, but that's maybe there needs to be a solution for that. That's what I'm starting
People
to
are
think.
looking at VR and all that.
I really think there needs to be like a new. Like there needs to be like a new format of entertainment. Also, I think
but
it's
then-
going to require.
Then
I think it's
all these
gonna be-
directors should not be saying fuck digital and all that kind of shit. They need to embrace that shit.
Yeah,
and
but
go
they're
for it.
They're
done,
screwed,
they're
man,
done,
if
they're
they
done.
do,
Forget.
yeah, I
Well,
mean-
but they're done already. It's
Yeah,
gonna
but
be
they're
the
not.
new.
It's
they're
It's
the
gonna
end
be
of
the
their
new
life.
generation. They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
they're done.
the
They're
thing is,
finished.
they're not giving new generation a lot of chance to do that shit.
It's not up to them. It's up to the new generation
Well-
to do it. The new generation has to do that themselves, and yes, the studios and the corporations would have to cooperate.
Tupac movie. I mean, I heard the guy butchered it. End of career. The
Oh,
director,
the-
the young guy. What's his name?
No idea.
Yeah, but the Tupac movie was a piece of shit for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you give these smaller directors a chance, and they fuck it up.
They fuck it up.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Or some upcoming directors. I mean,
yeah, but you need
some young
some
guys
But they
or women.
They're just
Young
Very
people.
good.
Young
Or
people.
women.
Young
First part.
people. I mean,
I don't have my list with me. The guy who did The Witch is pretty. I forget his name,
yeah, right.
but he's coming up. Obviously, Damien Chazelle is like the number one that people talk about. Is the guy who did La La Land and Whiplash.
Because I
Barry
mean, with the new
Jenkins.
generation, these are the guys that you can take there because they are good at self promotion, man, and they learned it from a young age. Self promotion, they get their management from a young age. You know, build it up.
I don't know if they're
really,
that good at
I really
self-promotion
think. But again, I think it's gonna be.
But more so than I mean,
My problem is I don't know. Maybe it's just because you can do. If you look at television, they are innovating, and you could say, well, you know, it's gonna be if you want to be an actual artist, you're gonna just have to do TV from now on. But I still don't find that to be the same thing as film.
No.
It's just not the same experience, and also for the artist, it's very frustrating because you have to do the same thing over and over and over and over again for years. Whereas a movie is one time, you have one specific message, and you put that out. But I think why I'm saying that is because I think that if you look at people like Issa Rae and Lena Dunham, they both did it extremely well, and I really think that their way of creating creative visual content has a very big chance of being the future of doing this.
Yeah,
Where
but
they really-
no studio wants to pick up somebody like Issa Rae who made a web series and
HBO did it.
yeah, but a movie studio. I'm
The
not
question
saying
is, the
Warner Brothers
question
will
is,
never.
but
I
the
don't see
question
that
is that's from the point. Like, does it work with a movie? Because movies once a TV show, you can
happening. Yeah, but then
you
you need to
build
try. You
an
need to
audience.
like there are enough people on the internet making short movies. Like YouTube is filled with that shit. Vimeo's filled with that shit. With people making short movies, giving it a try. If you just take a few, maybe have a bigger director mentor them, and just let them make a small budget movie. Like
Haven't they done
thing
that?
is, man,
I don't know. I've not heard
you
anything
need to
about
go
that.
against Hollywood.
They
You
need,
need
to, try
start
some
in
shit.
Hollywood.
For
This
me,
is like you're fighting a whole.
Yeah, but that's what people are saying. The shit's gonna collapse. And
It
then,
needs to collapse.
And then there will be new. There will be
But
progress.
this is like it reminds me of the
But
stuff that's
I-
happening in football right now, right? You have all these
Um,
players that are like, oh, if because these big money clubs buy a player and they spend so much money on him, so other players are like, well, I'm better than him. I'm not gonna leave for 40 mil. I want 200 million too. So they force clubs to pay this amount of money, which
Yeah.
is closing the gap, making the gap bigger between the strong clubs and the small clubs. And people are now talking about what if we just start a new league with where all the best teams leave and play each other and leave the other ones in their own league.
yeah.
I'm like, it's the same thing.
So at some point,
What if the
that's-
biggest,
Oh.
what if the biggest actors in the world now, the highest grossing, start their own thing? That's what they would talk about.
that's I could see that almost all the studios would just disappear and except Disney because Disney still keeps making money anyways, and they will make
Yeah.
movies to sell toys. So they will keep living, but all the artists will just probably die off, and then maybe some new shit will happen.
It's also just the content is shit.
The content
The
is so shit.
creativity is absolutely nowhere. I mean, they keep
Uh,
that they keep banking on things that have some sort of precedent. So they want something that has some sort of
it needs to be a book,
some
a
other material,
comic, or-
comic book, young adult novel, a previous movie.
It needs to be a TV show
It
before.
needs to have existed in some shape or form so that they can gauge how successful it's going to be, whether it's going to have an audience. And there's only so long that you can keep recycling the zeitgeist. You can only so long keep recycling stuff from a previous generation. This new generation needs to create new things for people to.
We need our
Yeah,
own
there's
shit
no
in the
good
future.
literature. I mean,
But they're not letting anybody.
There's a
do
lot
that.
of good literature, but we need our own shit. We need our own Star
Oh,
Wars.
you said there was no good literature.
yeah, I mean, like new stuff that's really like it's not like in the past where like everything was
Yeah,
good.
but
you
that's
know?
my point. But
There's so
like
much
if you look at
shit
Star
out there,
Wars,
like-
for example, it's like,
Yeah.
bruh,
We need to cut that
Yo,
shit out.
but
why
I
can
love
someone make a new?
I love Star
thing?
Wars,
Mm.
but we need to cut that shit out. It's at some point it's good enough.
They could make a Game of Thrones movie. know?
It wouldn't surprise me if there were talks about that shit already.
Yeah.
But then my point is that's why it's also not exciting, right? It's like, and the big budget films are always films that are based on some sort of pre-existing material, or it's something very superficial and very simple that has a big celebrity in it. So like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Central Intelligence and shit like that.
Dude,
Which I'm like, okay. So basically, either it's that or it's a comedy. Either it's
always a
shit
comedy.
that exists in some other form, or it's a comedy.
it's
Comedy's
always
always
some
like-
shit.
And
that
even the
exists in
comedies,
a
the
comedy.
comedies aren't the big budget films. Comedies
no,
are
there's,
like around
they're just the
50
ones they do
million,
because
50,
they need to
60
keep the
million.
ball rolling. You know, they need to keep
Yeah.
people in the theaters.
Yeah.
Biopics, man. Biopics should be. There should be more.
But
Those
Mhm.
biopics.
Biopics. Yeah, biopics.
I don't know. About who?
There's not many.
About who?
They're not doing one about Snoop Dogg, I think. No.
Ooh.
I mean, icons. You gotta. Who are they doing? I don't know, man. But
Yeah.
like Jamie Foxx did Ray Charles, right?
They're getting into.
That was a big,
They're getting
high
into the
grossing
hip hop
movie.
heroes and trying to make movies for them.
NWA they had.
Yeah, because they saw NWA worked
Yeah.
when they thought it wasn't gonna work, and
Yeah.
they didn't want to back. The studios didn't want to back it. They weren't spending enough money on the promotion. And then it was Ice Cube and the hip hop community,
Yeah.
really, that made that film happen.
But
and
that's
work.
what's gonna happen because the Tupac movie also like probably made a shitload of money too, even though half the people say it's shit.
Yeah, not a
It may-
shitload.
Maybe first
Maybe it
week
didn't
it
flop, but
maybe first week it did a little
Maybe it
bit.
didn't
Wu Tang
flop
Clan
hard.
needs a movie because
They're
they're a
gonna
whole
fuck
social
that shit
movement, man.
up so good. They're going to
Yeah.
mess that up. I don't want to see a Wu Tang movie.
What?
I
think
want
they
to
gotta
see.
do
I
well,
want to
man.
see
I
new
think
shit. I want to see new shit. I want to come up with just new stuff completely. Like
Some weird,
Okay.
like what they
like-
did with
yeah,
the
yeah.
Matrix. Like what they did with the Matrix.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
can't we
yeah,
do
yeah,
that? People don't do that anymore. People try, and it
I think
becomes.
it's because of the risk
But-
factor. Because now the risks
they
are
really push
so
it.
much higher.
people are doing that, but
Yeah.
they're doing it online on these platforms. But
they're also doing it in indie film, but they really push it towards. Because who was doing the?
it's always dramas that I see with indie films. I don't see any
Yeah, well, they-
Matrix kind of shit.
Yeah, well, they do
Yeah,
it. The
those.
Stranger Things should have been a film, right? If you really think about it, like many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That would've
would
been
have
a
been a
film.
film. I think. it
But
would be
now
better.
it's
Now
something like
they
that.
Stretch it more.
In a film, actually, I think it might have been good.
Yeah, we
But
we
now
make
they
more
do it
money
on-
like this.
on a later episode we'll go into why we don't like. it.
But not doing TV. On TV, they actually do come up with like new concepts very much. They don't. They do their remake here and there, but they do very unique.
It's
things.
always based on some shit, but they go far enough that it is really some new
They're
shit
not even always. There's. I mean, Jane the Virgin was.
based on another.
Yeah, but very loosely. It was based not even on a specific telenovela, right? It was based just on telenovelas.
No, it
in
was
general.
based on a specific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
There
difficult, man,
needs-
because it's risky. And if you want to try some new shit, like now there's so much more money going into these things that you can't really be like, I'm gonna do this and get it approved that quickly, because they're like, yeah, it's gonna be this much money. We're not guaranteed it's gonna make money back. You know,
They
think
want to
that's
see.
why
But they
it's
make
harder to
smaller
make
movies.
real
I mean,
shit.
you have a couple films. You're putting all your eggs in one basket. You have just a few films that are making all the money
Uh-huh.
that you need to sustain your business.
Mhm.
Why not diversify and spend money on multiple movies that are a little bit smaller? And then when those, if one of those or two of those fail, then you still make a profit. But they don't want to do that because they think that then no one's gonna go because people won't go to the movie theater. to
They
see
want
small.
maximum profit. They don't want to try shit out.
Yeah, but if your
Yeah.
shit costs 300 mil to make,
I mean, they'll
There's
catch up
more-
on it. I'm sure
it's
that'll
like
happen
gambling.
in some
There's more
form.
chance to make fucking 500. Like if you're lucky and you get a good break, there's more chance to make like millions, crazy amount of money than when you split it up in smaller movies. And
yeah, but over
Hopefully.
time, that's actually more smarter, right? That's what,
Over
for
time.
example, if you have divestors,
over time,
if you have
but-
when you
yeah.
have investors, right? The whole thing is
investors
diversify. You
want short
diversify.
term.
No, if
short-term
you're an
gains.
investor, I mean like on stock trading and stuff.
Yeah,
you diversify.
Yeah.
You diversify your assets. You don't just put everything in one company. You spend on
Makes
different
complete
companies,
sense.
and then you have more.
What you're saying makes
That's
complete
just
sense.
like the math. So I don't get why. That's my point. So why don't they
But
do
the
like?
investors behind these.
I mean, I look
but-
at these things like actors getting $20 million budgets, and it breaks my fucking heart. I'm like, dude, that's 2 really good movies. That's 2. You can make 2 very good films.
Yeah, I mean, who has to take responsibility there? Who has to step up and say, "I am Warhol"? I mean, who's got to stand up and say, "Okay, let's take a bunch of actors, my big actor friends, and start trying
Seth
this new
Rogen.
shit and
Seth
take a
Rogen.
little pay cut maybe in the beginning,
Seth Rogen, James Franco.
They already do it,
Yeah, that's my point. That's why I'm
True.
saying. That's why I'm mentioning them.
but
They
more,
do that.
more
They do.
people.
It's like,
People are too
more
greedy.
people.
Yeah,
Because
but
same thing.
they're trying it.
Back
And
to the sports thing. If Conor McGregor left UFC and started his own thing, and 3 other big names go, who's gonna watch UFC anymore? To be honest, they're gonna go watch the big guys.
But none of-
Oh wait,
you know?
I just understood what you were saying. I didn't understand it the first time you said it. So what you're saying, because you said it way back, I didn't even get it, but I just let it go.
Oh, the
But-
football thing was a little bit different, but yeah.
No, but what you mean now? You're saying
Yeah.
so, like certain people in the industry should just like create like their own little creative clique or something,
Yeah.
like their own production company,
Yeah.
but like smaller, and just start using their fame to make shit.
Save
and
the
then people go
industry
and watch
and-
them,
Exactly.
and then you'd have smaller.
Mm.
That's the thing. That's a good point, man. That's a good point.
Nobody's
Once in a
trying
while,
to.
I drop gems sometimes.
I didn't even catch what this. No, because the big problem is that the film industry is like 5 companies.
Yeah.
There's 5 companies.
There's only
Yeah, but
see,
I-
that's
I
it. There's
think-
cartel.
I
I
think the
think of it
reason-
like that. There's only 5.
I think the
companies.
reason
Yeah,
why
that's the
people
point.
don't do
It's
that shit.
It's not enough. It's 5 major studios.
I think the reason why people don't do that shit is because they cannot go back to the 5 big companies and get that big fat check. They want to go back every now and then.
It needs to be broken up. And indie films, I mean, indie films are,
Yeah.
there's more and more indie films, but it almost feels as if that space that indie films could have filled
Mhm.
to, how do I put it? To actually make a difference,
Yeah.
to get people to watch different things, to make maybe some smaller studios rise up a little bit, was sort of like hijacked by Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about and other platforms. I mean, you think about like every year there's like a lot of movies that are made, but a lot of them they don't get a distribution.
Isn't it
That's what a
also
lot of
that
people don't know.
isn't it also that
get into
movie
film
movie
festivals,
theaters
yeah.
are not that willing to put smaller movies in their theaters?
No, there's a lot. We watched a bunch of shitty ones very recently.
No,
to be
they
honest.
do, but you have to get the distribution deal. That's
Yeah.
it's the people in between.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to get the people that say, okay, we're gonna pay for this movie to end up in a movie theater.
And those people are still the 5 companies, the few big companies.
No, those are it's very fucking
Yeah,
complicated.
but I mean,
they're
the big
attached.
names, the big actors. I mean,
Yeah, but
they're.
essentially the same companies. Yeah.
No, I think the biggest actors are still that much of a brand that they can pull it
Yeah, you
off. I
still-
mean, they're
you
gonna
still
be
have a
like
few.
people are
Oh,
gonna go
there's
watch the
Leo-
movie. If I'm gonna see Kevin Hart in the movie, I'm not gonna go because of the studio or anything. I'm gonna be like, Kevin Hart is gonna keep making movies. He's gonna keep pulling an audience.
But that's
'cause
what
he promotes
that's
himself.
what that's what Leo did with The Revenant.
True.
That's what Leo did with The Revenant.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, and he even said that himself. He said he specifically does these kind of movies because he knows that if he didn't, nobody would watch.
Yeah.
When it's a fucking genius, that's a fucking
Brilliant
genius film.
fucking movie.
Very good film.
No, but-
And I went.
What was
I go
the-
because of the director. That's why
What
I
is the
went.
director's name again?
Yeah,
Like,
but-
he is
Alejandro González Iñárritu.
fucking
Iñárritu.
brilliant.
Brilliant.
He also did
But-
Birdman. Guy's a fucking genius.
But then most of these movies, I mean, it's
That's
not
why-
movie
that's why I
buffs
think, like, he's a
watching
genius,
it. It's
like,
the casual.
You do Birdman and
people-
Revenant and just 2 very different movies.
Yeah.
Amazing
he's crazy.
film.
He's crazy.
Yeah, man. But
Crazy. That
what's the
guy's-
solution? I mean,
Well, there's like
Well, I think you need to get people into the movie theaters. Okay.
Mhm.
And if you want to get people into the movie theaters, you got to provide something that they can't get somewhere else. So, provide movies in the movie theaters and nowhere else. Can't see it anywhere else. Like if you want to go to a play, right? You have to go to the fucking theater. And if you don't go to the fucking theater, then you can go fucking
But
fuck
if-
yourself.
but there will
Why
always
is the
be
city different?
bootleg. There's
No, but-
always gonna be a motherfucker with a camera or
No, but
find
it's
a
not
way
only
to
that. I
record
don't think it's
the
only
movie.
that.
And
like it's
Oh,
there'll
come
always
on.
be somebody with a camera and filming it and putting it online.
No, there won't.
But
what do you mean?
No, there won't.
There always is.
there always is.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
many people in jail for this.
Only,
I mean,
only if you make it a local screening.
Hold on.
Maybe that shit doesn't happen.
Hold on.
What do you want to?
You're telling me that we have the technology to locate people by their phones and fucking iPhones are now face recognition, but we can't figure out how to keep people from taking pictures in a movie cinema. We can't figure that out.
We still haven't figured out. People
You-
still haven't
you
figured out
come
how to
in,
get people to.
There's a lot of it. You come in.
I don't think people were that happy about that shit. That's very invasive. Like
They do that
as
at
soon-
stand-up comedy. They do that at stand-up
Oh,
comedy.
they get the
Yeah.
they take the camera.
They take the fucking
they-
phone
but
away.
away.
people still manage to film.
Rarely, and you get kicked the fuck out. And they take your phone.
But any other way of technology to like, there's so many ways to steal movies. Come on.
Yeah,
I mean,
there
if you
are
just
ways-
show,
like,
people
there-
will find a way.
there are many ways to steal movies,
There has
but
to be- I don't,
still-
I'm not I don't have the technology for this. Are you asking me?
but still, like even if you do that, even if the newer movies or movies are only available in the cinema, some people will just say, "Fuck that! I'm just going to watch a movie at home because
Which one?
I'll just watch some Netflix shit."
But there is no Netflix.
If Netflix didn't exist, that would work.
I get it, but
But you need to get Netflix out of here. Then
That's
how
gonna
are you
kill
going to
a
get
lot of
Netflix
movies.
the fuck out of here?
Why? How does Netflix get the movies if we don't sell them to them anymore?
Oh, you mean it like that? Like you hold
But,
out.
what happens
They'll make their own
after?
shit.
So it's screened
That's
for like
not-
3
they'll
months.
collapse.
You screen it for about 3 months, and then what happens?
He just says like
Then nobody can ever watch the movie again.
What makes it special?
It's culture. It's art, man. People are not gonna.
That-
20 years from
Like, it's
now,
art, man.
some of the movies.
I think you could
20
actually
years
make
from
more
now-
money that way
You're
because
going-
you could bring it back every once in a while.
you're going to an extreme here, man.
That year,
People are
it-
not
it
with
is
that.
Extreme.
Like
It's like you can
studios
now,
will
like,
not
say,
make.
okay,
Okay.
I can't watch The Matrix anymore.
People
You know
will
what?
not.
You know what?
studios-
Let me do it
studios will not make
differently.
residuals
Let me
from
do it
TV
differently.
screenings.
Let me do it differently. You know what?
What do
I
you
figured it out. I think I know what needs to happen.
What?
I think the future lies in the festivals. I think the future really lies in the festivals. I think people need to create an opportunity for filmmakers to make money off of being in the festival. Because if you think about it, you don't make money off the festivals. The festivals are a way for you to present your films to the world and then get a distribution deal. So you
No,
make
for
the
sure.
thing, you submit it to all these festivals.
On the festival, people make a lot of money though.
Oh, they get
The
paid.
festival people ball.
They get
Yeah.
paid. But they make money, right? And you have to submit if you want to submit your film, you have to pay to submit it. Even.
Yeah.
Unless you're some baller shit, because if you're on some other level, then they ask you to bring your film there. So if you're like Paul Thomas Anderson, then different.
Yeah.
But they go there, and there you can people who go film festival goers can watch that movie there at that time. But for example, let's say that movie didn't get a distribution deal, then that's the only time you could have. That's very close to what I'm saying. That's the only time you could have seen it. That's why there's people that really go to film festivals, because there's certain movies, if you don't see it at a film festival, it's gonna be very hard for you to find it anywhere else because it didn't get bought by a company to put it in a movie
Yeah,
theater.
yeah, but if it didn't get
So what
bought,
I'm
then
saying
there's a
is-
high chance like not the masses won't see it, and that's what the studios are aiming
Yeah.
at the masses.
Yeah, but
Right.
fuck them is what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yeah,
we
but
need
that's
a
not
whole
how the
new-
world works, man.
No, you're not
But
catching. You're
doesn't
not
it-
following me. I'm saying we need a new system. I'm saying the film
No, I know.
festivals,
Yeah, you're saying that. but-
right?
Mhm.
If the film festivals could find a way for, I don't know, maybe like charge people more.
Mm.
Because if people go to a film festival, they just pay for the festival or they pay for certain parts of the festival, and then they can see whatever they want. But if people actually have to pay,
Per movie they want to watch. or
yeah, I
some
mean, I don't
Mhm.
think it's enough people that go,
No, for sure.
but
shit. Nah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
that might be
Because that
a way to
changes
do
the
it.
nature of the festival a lot. Like it's not like a committee choosing or
What's already a
picking
committee
and choo-
choosing.
yeah, but maybe I'm understanding it wrong. But it seems like then it would be more like a music festival where just random or just a bunch of artists are invited and they just record and play their shit. It's a bit
Nah.
different maybe.
I think the solution lies in that whole taking the big actors, do their own thing, cut out the middleman.
The middleman needs
Chance
to
the
be
Rapper
there.
does it with his music, right?
No,
He doesn't have the-
He'll lie. He's been exposed at Everyday Struggle. He ain't independent. He's
did.
been exposed.
Yeah.
He's been
But there's people-
exposed.
He basically has a deal with Apple.
He's exposed, and some other, not even just Apple. There's a bunch of people in
Apple
there.
is probably his
Shit.
the biggest deal.
There's a
he has.
bunch of deals in there. Yeah.
Chance the Liar.
I'm independent. Yeah. I'm for the people.
Yeah, I'm just
I got a
distributing
freedom.
mixtapes. It's like
I'm
selling
the
it
culture.
out of my pickup truck.
Look at me out there.
That's what he sounds like.
That's his Chance the Rapper impression.
He's been exposed. Joe Budden exposed him.
Shout out to Joe, our
so
competition.
Joe Budden aired him out, man.
We're coming
Joe
for you, Joe.
Budden, Joe Budden put him out there, man. He put all of his business out there. We see you. Anyways,
But I think that's a solution in this case because these actors already established they have their payrolls, but most of them are moguls and businessmen now too. So they got their other
Yeah, but they're all
streams
doing
of
other
income.
shit.
They can do their
They're all doing other shit.
yeah, but
no
which means they
movie
can
shit.
sustain this and they can actually give this a shot. That's what I'm
They
saying.
should, but they don't care. They care about movies, but they don't care about movies in that
You
way.
just have to find that one guy who does care. I think James Franco cares, but he doesn't have the kind of money.
he's
if they
doing,
combine
are you gonna see
forces.
the Room. He's doing The Room.
Yeah,
I need to.
I'm gonna watch.
just
I watch
see it.
everything he's in, man.
One
I'm
of
a
the
big
worst
fan.
movies ever made, but he's gonna show like the making of it.
I need to see that.
But
one.
this is why.
But
his
that's a
shit
fucking
works,
genius.
like-
See, that's
yeah.
a unique idea. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's some shit that people. That's different.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
why
It's
his.
not like,
that's
oh,
why I don't
we're
think the
gonna
Deuce will
do
ever get canceled either. He's
Superstars
good at
of-
he's really good at promoting himself, and he's on social media. He's in the forefront. He's on all these media outlets. He knows his shit.
Yeah.
His shit's gonna work. And Kevin Hart, like combine these forces, man. You can create something. You can build something. there.
You need some other people in there also.
Yeah,
'cause
you'll get a
otherwise
bunch
you,
of- I'm
Otherwise,
saying
you will
there's a
get
lot of
only
people.
Kevin Hart comedies and that.
No,
Nobody
yeah,
wants to
but
live
that's
on
what I'm
that
saying
shit.
is, look, people of that status, you just combine a bunch of them because they all have their networks. If
Yeah.
they all go together and say, "Oh, fuck those studios," studios are fucked, man. Nobody's gonna go watch these movies anymore.
People give studios a bit, maybe right now, rightly so, but they give them too much credit for shit. They
For
give
sure.
them too much power for shit.
For sure, they get too much of a
We
cut,
need to get-
probably.
We need to get a lot of these studios out of this bitch and just.
Okay.
Jeff's planning a
Turn
raid.
very rebellious, all of a sudden.
No.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
Hey, well, we need to
Yeah.
watch it. We're over.
Okay,
time, so
so let's wrap
Anyway.
it up. Like you want to
Join the discussion. I mean,
after
You have
wrap
some
it up,
closing words?
I've my closing words is that I'm still confused. I still don't know what to do about it.
It's a fucking big problem, man.
Because it's so when you look at I'll say that when you look at this year's release movies and you look at the box office and display sites, you can see that you see that a lot of major big budget films just haven't reached the mark that they had to reach to make good profit.
Yeah.
mhm.
If you're
They haven't for a while.
exactly, and what people need to understand is that the film industry is an industry just like every other. People forget that sometimes. So it's the same thing as the film industry, for example. Every major film studio is on the stock market. It's on the Dow Jones.
Yeah,
There's
man.
stock in it and everything.
I was thinking of it like the Wall Street crash.
That's
the same
exactly
thing's
what it
gonna
is.
happen.
That's what they're saying is gonna happen. Major
housing
films
market.
are gonna crash. The fucking companies are gonna take big hits, and then it's gonna and the stock market's gonna crash. People are gonna take their stocks out, selling it, and the
Right.
companies are just gonna fucking crumble, like the web 2.0 bubble. Because right
Yeah,
now it's in a bubble.
sure.
Is what people are saying. People,
Mhm.
because these companies
It
have
needs to
been
burst.
around. These companies have been around for so long. It's just 5 companies. They have no competition because it's a cartel. They work together, even though
Yeah.
they're not supposed to. So everyone thinks that it's stable. So it needs a very hard hit for people to realize that it's not. And then they take their money out, and then it's
What
going to
would be that hard hit? What would be
A couple dozen films that cost over $100 million all just flop one after another. And what that's going to happen.
Yeah, man. At some point, it's gonna
And
catch
it's going to
up with
happen.
them. It's
you
gonna.
see it happening. Justice League, fucking Blade Runner didn't make enough money also.
Oh, that's a shame.
What was another one? There was another one that we're talking about. There's
Blade
been
Runner's
several ones.
promotion was I don't know, man.
It was a brilliant film. It was
because-
a brilliant film, but it was just
Yeah, but-
too fucking expensive, and people just didn't. The minds of people are not developed enough in this
The thing
generation.
is, man, at least in
You
this
just,
country,
you just keep shitting on people like
I just
that.
didn't hear that it was coming until it was out. I'm like, oh, there's a new
Yeah, the
Blade Runner
marketing,
movie.
the
That
marketing
too.
of it
Why
was
the
so
fuck?
That too.
off.
The marketing was not good.
So
But people also, the first thing I hear is, oh, well, that's really long. It's like, bitch, what, you can't sit down quiet for 2.5 hours?
but you do that anyway in front of your fucking computer. You know?
Thank you.
That's what I mean.
No, but, dude, people could watch fucking an entire season of Orange is the New Black.
Yeah,
That
people
they could
binge
do.
watch this shit, and
But
it's
if you
1
tell
hour
them 3
episodes,
hours,
isn't it?
exactly, it's one episode. You tell them 3 hours movie, long. Maybe that's the future of film. Just release it like episodically.
Yeah, but they
Just like
already
take
do
a
that with
2-hour
these series,
movie and
man.
then but
Like, I
take
mean-
out a
Nah,
movie.
fuck that. Like, give 2 hour movie.
No,
and then
but I'm
splitting it
thinking.
up
No,
in
but I'm
pieces?
thinking. But I'm thinking. Actually, and I'll close off here. I actually think that a big opportunity lies with miniseries and anthologies, like True Detective. I think that might be it.
Oh, you mean like that?
Like you do, like it's like 6 hours,
Mhm.
an hour every
Okay, yeah,
episode.
Yeah, yeah.
You release it one time, done, finish, and then you
Yeah.
leave.
The Deuce, boom, as well.
Well,
No,
The Deuce
actually
is
no,
gonna have
because
more
that's gonna
multiple
happen
seasons.
seasons. Yes, true.
But
I see what
anthologies
you mean.
work
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it's a good
For
middle
sure.
ground. Because
Yeah.
it's like you get more out of it than a movie. You can take your time with it in the same way that you can do with a TV show.
You can
But
keep
it's-
the brand alive and rejuvenate it with new actors every time.
Exactly.
That could work.
So what are we gonna call it? Our anthology.
I got some shit I'm working on. We're gonna keep that off air because people don't need to be stealing that.
What are we going to build, man?
Pay attention to Oliver. Follow him.
On
social media.
People steal my ideas. I have an idea for a mini series that I've been working on for this is real shit. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I'm working on for a while, but I'm not gonna share it on here.
Oh, come on.
Of course not.
It's some
Tease
no.
it, tease
I'm gonna
it.
tell you
Tease
off. It's gold shit. I'm trying to make
Tease
you
it.
rich. It's stupid. You know what?
I'm gonna be this guy's agent.
Just
I'm
some
gonna
wonderful
say no.
content. Tease it.
Talk to my manager. How about that? You talk to my manager.
Your
let's
manager
wrap this
is
shit
also
up.
your publicist, and he also agrees. No, you don't say
Let's
it.
wrap this shit
I'm not
up.
gonna tell you.
Don't
Guys.
share
It's
that
a really good idea. I'm gonna tell you to say it, but not right. It's actually a really good idea.
All right. Thank you for listening. We are the True Young Here Men.
Oliver,
Jeff.
Nick.
till next time.